HBCU Sports Knowledge Time on the Sports Group 2.0. We're joined by Lute Williams from, most notably, the Black College Sports page. However, he's now doing this thing with HBCU Game Day as well.
Certainly, the SWAC got strengthened, and understatement of the year, the MEAC got weakened in a 3-hit, I guess you could call it, in terms of what they're dealing with. So how the MEAC gets rehabilitated, or if it can be rehabilitated, and how the rehabilitation comes about, and who's going to lead that rehabilitation. As we know, the commissioner, Dr. Thomas, is leaving at the end of the year. All big questions. And, you know, when I did my first story, when I started the 28th year of the Black College Sports page, that's what I said, that questions abound as the 2021 season is upon us. There are a lot of questions to be answered.
A whole lot of them. And one of them has to be about coaching. And always you got, you know, the big name, prime time, highly visible coaches. At Jackson State, Coach Prime, I hope I don't offend him by calling him Deion Sanders, but Coach Prime down there in Jackson, Eddie George in Nashville. Wonderful hires, big names.
Absolutely.
Big names with a lot of attention that go to places that already have a lot of attention, Luke.
That's right. That's right.
They are pressure cooker programs on the FCS and certainly at the top of the hot seats in Black college football. So what happens if they don't work? Will we go back to being, we just don't have the facilities, you don't want to mess with those schools? Or will guys have to man up and say, hey, look, I got a great opportunity coming out, but maybe I should have cut my teeth in Division II?
Well, that's the $60,000 question. I've said that from the beginning, from the time that Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, took the job at Jackson State. The issue is going to be, can he win? And when he wins, how long does it take? How long does he stay with it? How long does an Eddie George stay with it before he says, man, I'm going to go back to playing golf? You know, so that's the $60,000 question. What happens? You know, because the rest of the coaches in the HBCU universe, they're not backing down to anything. I think the Connell Maynard down at Alabama A&M, he said, you know, I can recruit Division I players. I can recruit 4-star and 5-star players. And I think that's the attitude of all of them. But the bottom line is, I think it ratchets up the competition across the board, not only in terms of when they get on the field, but even in the recruiting areas. You know, so I think that from that standpoint, and I think you would echo this, Mark, that there's never been this degree of focus and highlight on the HBCU environment. And it's not just football, it's really across the board.
Yeah, man. And I think it's going to spike even more with this name, image, and likeness thing. And then you got the NBA players. I don't want to get too far away from football, but Chris Paul with his own HBCU tournament for Division II schools. I
Exactly.
think even bigger to me than the fact that he's sponsoring it, or it's 4 Black schools. These are 4 Black Division II schools.
Exactly.
That, you know, at Mohegan Sun, that's a great look.
Yeah, and you know, Chris Paul has a serious connection to Winston-Salem State University, one of the teams that's going to play, I believe, in his basketball tournament. He's going to North Carolina A&T, and I'm sure you just saw J.R. Smith is going to play golf at North Carolina A&T. Bonzi Wells just became the former NBA player out of Ball State, is now the head coach at Lemoyne Owing in basketball. You know, there was even one of the rumors that when the Norfolk State job opened up, that they were interviewing Michael Vick for the Norfolk State job. So, yeah, the hype and the focus on HBCUs is unlike, I know I've been publishing my sports page now for 28 years. There's never been this kind of hype across the board in terms of attention, headlines. The J.R. Smith story is a headline story on ESPN, as is Bonzi Wells taking the job. And that's kind of where the change is occurring, I think, Mark, is that what so-called mainstream media, so if you want to call it that, is starting to take notice. And they cannot ignore the HBCU environment. That's what they can't, it onto their own peril. So the fact that ESPN is carrying all of these games is a boon for them in one sense. But again, if we get enterprising commissioners that look beyond ESPN, because look, the Big 12, the Big 10, the SEC, the ACC does not confine themselves to one network, and neither should the HBCU commissioners in their conferences.
Especially when that network is in bed with the SEC, but that's a topic for a different conversation altogether. I want to go to on-field stuff before I let Lute Williams of the Black College Sports page and HBCU Game Day go. Alabama A&M has arguably, hands down, Can't-Miss Player of the Year as quarterback Aqeel Glass. Is this 2021 season just Aqeel Glass's world? I mean, he's the best quarterback Connell Maynard's ever had, and Connell Maynard is probably a better quarterback's coach than he was as a quarterback, and he's a 2-conference Hall of Famer, bruh. I mean, right. So when you put everything into the mix, I'm looking at a guy that could devastate. Shouldn't we be hyping him the way Trey Lance was hyped before last year when he didn't play at North Dakota State?
Well, that we at Game Day did a little round table across the board, everybody picking their picks for every conference this week. I didn't go with Alabama A&M in the SWAC. I actually went with Florida A&M. Okay. I believe that Willie Simmons, coming off really beating A&T 2 years ago in 2019, they just could not go to the Celebration Bowl because they had some penalties that they were paying for. But they beat A&T, and they beat A&T with a freshman backup quarterback that came in to beat them a couple of years ago. And we had people who are going to FAMU practices. We had people who are going to Jackson State practices that were on this roundtable, and they believe that Florida A&M has as much talent as Jackson State.
We got more of what you came here for. It's the Sports Group 2.0 on something other than your radio. This is HSRN, putting the U in HBCU because Black Talk matters over here.